chase success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne or...
Yay! We're
It's
here,
time.
Miss Angelica. We're here. It's a
We're here.
Wednesday. It's the 1st of October. I just realized. How good is that,
Yeah.
right? You know, so the year's
Yes.
nearly ended. I'm excited. I hope you are too.
I'm excited for every day.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way to be, right? Look,
Absolutely.
I forgot to mention it before we went live. Now we're live. I'll mention it anyway, right? I want to do a speakers event, author speakers. You know, so there's a mini conference, call it that, because I want
Oh,
to
that's
give
awesome.
authors the chance to come and speak. You know, so I think the first one probably be why I write. So now you should come and share your inspiring messages about why you write. Are you going to be one of our speakers, Miss Angelica?
It sounds like I am because
Excellent.
I'm an author.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And you have a message to share with the world as well about why you write, right? You know,
Absolutely.
So, you know, I want to pay you as well. I want to pay the authors. I'm tired of people who want us to speak for nothing, right? You're calling us and say, "Come on, speak," and you're like, "How much are you paying me?" Like, what do you mean?
Would
You know,
would
what's the
everybody be
budget?
going to England?
No. The first one. Let's do the first one online.
Oh, okay.
Let's make it bigger than normal. Let's do an online thing that's let's get a couple of hundred people in the room. That would cheer me up. You know, there is always, what's the word I'm looking for? There's always quid pro quo, right? You know, authors' responsibilities, which essentially comes down to, I think we all need to sell tickets as a collective. You know, any author that sells 20 tickets, I'll happily pay you for the pleasure. It's only £10 a ticket, so was that $12, something like that? Yeah, thereabouts, right? I'm saying, so it's not big money. It's just, it's a principle that we all work together to make it happen. We all work together to make the event successful, and of course, maximize how many people actually see us as well, right? And then we all get paid. The authors, the authors can buy your books with your signature, signed copies of our books, in other words. You know, and they can also get to meet you and spend time with you. You know, as I have a big plan. This is the first one. The first one is online. After that, it will be hybrid, so it'll be in person plus on screen. This is the first one. You know, and then we take that round as we'll do what else we need to.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like
it. I hear an echo. Do you have a parrot there? The pirate's parrot?
No. I was putting my YouTube on. My YouTube was doing what my YouTube.
I see.
Ignore that for a second. That's gone now.
Yeah, just put it low.
Yeah, no, I've turned it down to nearly nothing now. They can't hear. You can't hear it. So that's
now
right.
I can. Yeah, sounds
good. Full TV. Welcome. It's amazing, Tracy. How are you doing, Tracy?
Hi, guys.
Oh, Tracy, that's a big question. What's more desirable, fame or money? They feed each other, right? It's a hard one. I think fame will bring you money. You know,
I was thinking the same thing. Fame's going to bring you the shmoney.
If you're famous to the right people, the people that you sell to, for example, Tracy, when I say I want to make you famous, it is about putting my friends, my clients in front of the target audience. That way, the fame comes down to being known, being liked, and being trusted, right? KLT, as we always say, right?
Yes.
So I think when you have that level of fame with your ideal clients, you can't help but make money if you do what you say you do. You know, money. Money is very important. Michael was here just now. He normally argues against money. There's nothing wrong with money. Money is good. Money is a good thing, my friends. Money is a good thing. You know,
as long as you keep it in perspective, right? As long as it's not.
I suppose again, it comes. The point I just
you don't do anything for it, right? You You gotta
No, 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 no,
have
no.
your
I think no.
ethics.
Look, money is fine. I think the love of money is the problem.
Yeah,
And if you would sell your granny for a penny, that's wrong.
that's
Literally, if you would
different.
do anything for money, if you have the love for money and do anything for money, then you're doomed, right? But I think
Mm-hmm.
in reality, we make money when we give value. We make money when we help people. That's how we
Mm-hmm.
make money. So I can't see money as money is an infinitely great thing. It's a reflection of my value that I give, whatever that is. Yeah, so I want more money. I want the more money I have, the better I feel. The better I feel I'm doing. Right? I'm not gonna mix my words, my friends. We want more money. Don't be shy. Never tell your God that you don't want more money. Otherwise, you have no money. That's a bad thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tell your God, I want $10 million in the bank. Yes, I want freedom. Yes, show me the money, Adrian. I agree with you. Show me the money, all of it. Right, 10 million at least. I can build on that and make that 100 million, 100 million. Then I can help everyone. Think of it that way. I can help me, I can help my family, I can help my pets, I can help everyone. Yeah, and what's the other way we can do it, Miss Angelica?
What the other way to make money? I
The,
think
other- the,
about
other way, the other way to look at success and look at life that doesn't involve
yes,
money.
absolutely. I you look at the people that are successful, like look at Bad Bunny. This is really funny. He's gonna play for halftime for NFL, right?
Mm,
Here
mm,
in the United States. And right now there's a controversy because everything that he sings is only in Spanish. And so
mm.
with everything that's going on here, it's kind of interesting to see people's reactions. You know, you just get a taste of how people feel. But despite the fact that he only speaks Spanish on his shows and sings in Spanish, he speaks a little English too. But despite all that, he is like an international bestseller. He's
Mm.
in Japan. He performs in Japan. They don't know what he's saying, but he's singing.
It sounds good. That's the
They like
important
the
thing, right?
music,
It
but I
sounds it
think
sounds good,
I think
and
it's his
he looks good.
personality too. His
Yeah,
personality
he
too.
looks good. So literally, I saw him in the news a couple of days ago.
Mhm.
And Bad Bunny, I just thought that was a weird name. Yeah,
You thought that was what?
I thought it was a bit weird. I thought no, the bad.
Oh,
I never heard of
the
it before
name,
until
the
now.
name.
So, but then you realize it's made music with some of the biggest stars. It's performed with
Yes.
some of the biggest people in the world. So he's earned his place, right?
Yeah,
You know.
and I think he's very charismatic and down to earth, and he cares about community, and I think that that's what people that they're attracted to, you
I'm
know?
laughing at Adrian. Adrian, look, we just live our happy life, right?
I'm completely out of it.
The world goes
Never
on.
heard of Bad Bunny.
Adrian, I'm totally with you. That's what when I was growing up. The adults never knew anything, right? They were like, "Who?" If you mention a pop star, I'm like, "Who?" Never heard of them. I know what the kids know these days. Only God knows, right?
Well,
But
it's Adrian, I feel like you when I go to the Comic-Con because Comic-Con is like for gamers and people that are up to date on all the things that are in the movies. And I don't know all of the movies, but there's some people that are constantly watching Netflix, like my sister. And we are walking down the hallways of Comic-Con, and my sister recognizes people that I'm like her. Who is that? And then later on I look it up on the internet and I say, "Oh, okay.
yeah.
Interesting and interesting." But that's the cool thing about internet. You could just look it up, right?
Yeah, you can look, but I think we have to
Oh,
accept. We have to
Lisa says
accept
Bad Bunny
somewhere
was so funny
that
on SNL.
is that Saturday Night Live. I'm sure.
Yeah,
You know,
Saturday night. I'm gonna have
so
to check that out because I haven't seen that one.
so he does speak English. Then he must speak English for people to understand
Yes,
what he's saying. So he just
yeah,
sings in
in
Spanish, I
Spanish.
suppose. Yeah.
Mhm. He's been in a few
Lisa,
movies.
welcome. Right. Let's welcome Lisa. There's many people to
Hi,
welcome, right?
Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
We're talking
What
about visiting you in
what
Trinidad.
did Christiana call herself yesterday? I was in a show, Keith Keller's show, and Christiana was there at 3 in the morning. I'm like, Christiana, what are you doing? Go to sleep. She said about
Christiana.
the freebie Anne, something like that.
I
No.
get those insomnia nights too, Christiana. I get it, man. It's good to see
freebie
you.
Anne. I want to know who freebie Anne is. I definitely do. So Christiana says, making money because you give value for singing in another language is not everyone understands. That is pure genius. You can say whatever you like, right? Yeah. Maybe I want to go. Someone should call us, come and speak in Japan. Yeah. Mm. We can say
Have you
whatever we
ever
like.
gone?
Well, if they pay us, I'll go. I'll go. And I
You
say,
might have
welcome.
to. You might have to sing a tune and do a little dance.
I'm not singing. I'm not singing. They won't pay me if I sing, Miss Angelica. They'll send me home. They'll be like, "Who the hell is it? Get rid of him." You know. If I have to wear some K-pop suit as well, less of that. That can only go wrong, right? Marlene, how are you doing? How's your book coming along? So we haven't spoken for a while. It feels like. Let's talk. I know
Hi,
you're keen
Marlene.
to out there. So Lisa, it's always been nice. Always happy to see the beautiful Miss Angelica and Eddie in brackets. I like that. And it's not a beauty. Well, you can't see me, can you? See my picture.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. You beautiful as well, my friend.
She actually looks in real life as well, Miss Angelica. So
She's
I can say
beautiful
that honestly.
inside out.
Exactly. In real life, especially, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Right, Tracy. Another question. Says Tracy. If I may, of course you may. You can ask any question you like. We'll try and answer you. What's your take on the famous book, The Tell? What's The Tell?
Now
The
we're
book
like
says,
Adrian. We're out of it, Adrian, on that one.
no, we have no idea what The Tell is,
I'm
Tracy.
gonna
We're
look
gonna have
it
to
up on my Magoogaloo though
I
and see
could,
what
but
to tell.
I'll leave you with that. I'm not gonna do that, right?
I know you're busy.
Aladeen, how you doing? Great to see you as always. I saw somewhere in the news. There's some civil unrest in Madagascar. I'm sure that's close to you, right? It seems like such a beautiful little island. Such a small place. I don't know how they're gonna have people fighting the police and the soldiers. I just rather weird, right? But I'm glad you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Just Tracy say, long time no see, and then Angelica. No, we'll do the shows when we can, right? So we'll
Yeah,
turn
we
up when
do.
we can. You
Morning
know,
from Houston. I
so
heard that there was bodies coming up over there.
where?
In Houston, they were finding
Really?
bodies in the river that they have over there, right, Tracy? That's what I heard recently.
Wow. I'm looking at Miss Angelica's
Let me give
cartoon.
better news, though. Go ahead.
Yes, I'll try and show you Miss Angelica's cartoon that she's made before we leave. Surprise, surprise. It's about pirates. Yes. It goes with your book, right? Is it based on your
Yeah,
book?
that's my book.
Excellent. Speak pirates, Liz. I don't know whatever that is. And anyway, you get to enjoy it before we go today, my friends. As best I can. My WhatsApp always takes a while before it shows the download button. As soon as it shows it, I will work it out and put it on your screen so you can see it. Right, Miss Angelica. I guess tell them what you want to tell them that you do. It's up to you.
Oh, I'm a multi-passionate person.
Oh, I
There's a
like
lot of
that.
things.
I like that.
There's a lot of things that I do. Um, I make film. Uh, Also, author of the book Max's Quest for the Lost Treasure, and also, this Thursday we'll be interviewing an author who's also a writer, a Hollywood writer, award winner, Rick Nahara. So we're going to be um, talking about the class that he's having on how to write. Much like Annie has these. He has these once a week, right? When you have your book
Yeah.
lives, any?
Yeah, it was once every couple of weeks. So once every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Uh, clearly, Mr. Rick is much cleverer than me. Left to learn, I just publish books. Now, writing books is a bigger endeavor, right? So
Hmm.
I got a meeting with a new client today. He wants me to ghostwrite his book. I'm like, do I really want to do that? Because it takes doing, right? It takes, I think you have to be half crazy because you have to get into their world to
Yeah.
paint the picture that they see in their minds. That's it. But I'm hoping I can get away with getting him to tell me the story, and then I will put it into words. And I said, "No,
Hmm.
I can do that quite well. So I'm doing that for Yolanda as we speak, and that's coming along nicely. But halfway through
Awesome.
her memoir book, so that's a bit easier. So I'll have to find out if this new client has a vision of the story he wants to tell. Because someone can just walk up to you and say, right, can you write me a book about feeding sheep, please? And that's a ghostwriting job. I don't want to write about feeding sheep. I don't want to write about things I don't know. I want
Yeah.
the author to really be in it, right?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, nice. And your multi-doing thing, Miss Angelica. Michael, come back. Stop hiding in the audience. So I've just come back from Ghana, so I'm still recovering, I must say. One day I'll tell
I
those.
love your suit.
Thank you. My speaking coach Elaine hates it completely. She's all doing
Why?
polls. She's all doing polls. I'm like, why are you doing polls? Would you stay married to someone who wears a pink suit? I'm like, it's not even pink. It's raspberry.
Hey,
Everybody.
I love bursts of color.
Thank
Why
you.
does everything have to be drab? Why?
Wait till I come out with a yellow one and then the green one and then bright blue one. These are all plans that Annie has, and I will get these suits made as well because I choose to.
Oh, I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, black, blue. I've got probably 5 of each. I just don't want to wear them. I even have a grey suit that I don't wear because I just choose not to. I want to look colourful.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
like I want a wardrobe full of rainbow suits. The whole colours of rainbow in suits. That's what I truly want to do, and I will do it because I choose to. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Calm, we do see you, my friend. We see you. Now, try to
Uh,
mute and talk to us. How are you doing, Mr. Calm? Mr. Calm, you can't hear me still. You hear me in the audience, though, but you can't hear me on here.
let's hear Mr. Calm, because I gotta step away for 1 second.
Here you go
Mr.
for it,
Calm,
Mr.
come
Calm.
on.
Unmute, please. Okay, Mr. Calm, where are you? You're still muted. Maybe you're just in a bad reception area, so you couldn't hear us. All right. Mike, welcome, sir. Always great to have you here. Now, you're a busy man, Mike. I was on the show, the Keith Keller show last night. Were you there? I'm not sure. I think you were there. The show was there. See, Mike, and wherever I go, I just think you were there. I can always hear your voice of wisdom, your sage voice and sage advice. I'm glad you're here. And the spotlight today shines on Tracy, master of business interviews with grace and genuine curiosity. She is that person, Mike. She's that person. You bring out the best in your guest, asking questions that honor their journey while guiding the audience with clarity. That's Tracy, right? Your blend of professionalism and warmth makes every conversation feel like a celebration of wisdom. It's like when you share, Mike, as well. Truly, you turn each interview into a well-deserved standing ovation for thoughtful dialogue. I tell you, Tracy, we take a bow. Hat tip to you, madam. You are that great person who does what you do very well. Thank you for being you. What's Mike's next comment? And the spotlight. Oh no, okay, it's the same thing, right? Okay, that's all right. Yeah. Oh, Sean has woken up. You want to see the suit? You see the suit soon, Marlene. So I'll send you one of the photos. Of the conference because William did a great job. He had camera people following you around literally all day. So there's videos of us doing random things. There's pictures of groups of us, pairs of us. And they're great pictures too. So I've seen a few online. I can't say I comment all the time, right? But I do see them. Anyway, if you love them, wear them. I agree, Sean. I agree. So I love my colorful suit. See, maybe one thing people don't know is that in days gone by, when I started the business, my promise to myself was I would wear a suit every day. I wear a suit every day that I do business. And then COVID happened, and I was doing a suit every day wherever I went, networking especially. And I was networking 6 days a week sometimes. So literally, I was wearing a suit every day. And then COVID came, and I was like, there's no point wearing a suit on the live stream, right? There's no point wearing a suit in my house, in my office. So that's where this suit thing went. But so now I'm trying to get. Now I'm getting back on. I'm getting on stages. What a great chance to stand up and really glow, literally, right? Look like me, my shiny self. Mr. Calm, you're back again.
Yay!
Are you talking this time? You're still not talking to us, right? Okay, fine.
We might be
I can
busy.
talk.
You are
Hey,
talking. Yeah,
At last.
Michael. How you
Because
good
doing?
to
I
see you,
couldn't
Michael.
hear you and I couldn't talk to you earlier. As I was there, but none of the apparatus was working. Not even the icons. So it was weird. So I had to reset completely.
Excellent. But you're back now, so we're glad you're here. Look, now you can be our first guinea pig for our topic for today. My friends, if you want to join us, please do. So we'd love to have your thoughts on the conversation, right? No,
Yes.
Tracy, you can see my picture. You can't. No one's going to see me this week because my video needs to be fixed on my computer, my video processor. So that's going to be done at the weekend. So you get to see me next week. I'm going to have a week of being camera free. Yay! I can eat, I can drink, I can sneeze, I can cough. As long as I tell my son enough while I'm doing all those things, right? It's all right. It takes me back to the audio days when all you had was a round head, but it will be fixed, and I will be back in, I don't know, what do you want to call it? My glory, or my usual self? Yeah, in good time. Miss Angelica, we have a big topic today. We have a huge topic, right?
Yes.
So you see, people, and maybe I'm traumatized, right? Because I have people say to me, sorry, I'm playing your video again. So I have people say to me, Annie, let's set the event up weeks before. I'm like, why? They will get more people will see it and join us. I'm like, they won't. It doesn't work like that. Now, you and I, Miss Angelica, we've done events the night before. No, even the same day, we'll set up events.
Yes, we have.
I know we have. And we fill the room every time, right?
And we've invited the same day too.
Right, 160 people are there, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm wondering if there really is a science of the good time to set up your events. I know you have some expert knowledge that you want to share with us on this, right?
Yes.
I guess this is what I want to discuss, really. So deep down, I think it's a ruse. I think because there's a conundrum in life, right? Look, what I've learned about our friends on LinkedIn, especially, is some people love a reminder about your event, right? They love to have last minute. If I'm free, I'll come. Literally, and if you don't send them that reminder, that last minute notification, last minute DM, they won't come. And there's other people who want months and months and months in advance, but they don't come anyway because they forget.
You know what? I think doing both might help.
Tell me how.
Well, I mean, you could send in advance, months in advance, the reminder, but then you could send it months in advance, or you could remind them that day, and you can remind them that day. So it's a combo platter of the two, because there's different people, and they're expecting it. They have more time to plan.
But do they plan? Maybe this is my real question, right? Now, how many events do you RSVP for, Miss Angelica? I'm using you as a guinea pig. Michael, same question to you. On an average week, how many events do you RSVP for? Do you go to all of them?
I don't
Do
go to
you
all of the ones that I
do you even
RSVP
put them in your
because things
diary?
come up,
Right.
deadlines come up, and I have to take care of the deadlines.
Priorities. I hear you. I hear you. I can't think of any event that I put in my diary unless I'm hosting or co-hosting, like Anthony's event tomorrow night, Thursday night, I think. Yeah. Nothing goes in my diary. I RSVP for everything. Usually to help my friends, because I think the more RSVPs you see, the more people are going to RSVP as well, right? Right. But see, there's no guarantee I'm going to be there. Even if you tell me a year in advance, I'm not, unless the day works out and I'm here when your event is on, you ain't going to see me. So it makes me think there's no real point in going early. RSVPs doesn't mean anyone's going to be there, right? I've seen people having 1,000 RSVPs, and the event should have 20 people there if you're lucky on a good day. Some people have less.
Yes, absolutely. I know that. I know that's right.
So I suppose you have the science. I mean, look, there is apparently good days to schedule your events and bad days to schedule your events. Miss Angelica, enlighten us. What's a good day to schedule events?
Well, according to polls that have been taken by our LinkedIn people, their recommendation is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So,
put events on those days, or schedule your events on those days?
Yeah, schedule your live events on those days. Do the event on those days
as well. Okay, right. What's wrong with Monday? What's wrong with Friday?
Monday, everybody's still asleep from the weekend. I don't. This is what the pollster said, but this is the thing. Those are the people that responded to the poll. There could be other people that didn't respond to the poll that think that Monday and Friday. I think every day is a good day myself.
I agree with you on that one. Look, I do events
every day.
The
more, and I think the more that. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
I think sometimes it's a topic that brings the people. Sean does events on Mondays. He does his mind shift events on Monday. And there's people there, right? And I don't think you should restrict yourself to any day, really. Now, I would say be consistent. So don't do an event on Monday, then the next one is on Wednesday, the next one is on some random day. I'm saying, keep your events on the same day. At least that way people know your schedule. If they know you every Monday, then those who like you will turn up.
Yes.
Now, I may say also, those who you invite will turn up. If you don't invite anyone, no amount of time is going to help you, my friends. I see a lot of people don't invite anyone. I don't know what. Miss Angelica is guilty of this, by the way. She relies on her magic. They love me so much.
Miss Angelica's so busy. She's so busy. She is busy. But this is the thing that we have that's great now. The replays.
Yes, for sure.
The replays are awesome because recently I was talking with Keith Keller and he was telling me that he's blowing it up on the replays.
Yeah, and you get hundreds of views, hundreds, right? We can get hundreds of views, and
some thousands. When I remember getting more, I think more than 1,000 with Michael. Michael, we got to do another show because you're popular. Where you
I'll
at,
let,
my friend?
I'll let him respond.
Really?
Michael has his own show now, though. He's starting his podcast, right?
Is he
Yes, I am thinking about it.
thinking
Yay.
about it? Yeah, no, well
Let
done.
me know how I can help you, friend. How we can
Yeah,
help you, because
you
we're
know,
glad
if you
you're
have
back.
guests, then invite all of us, and I say I'll come along and speak with you. You
Yeah,
know,
me
I
too.
really appreciate that.
Yes,
so
me
what
I
are
too.
have
you so
to.
what are you thinking, Michael? Are you thinking podcasts or are you thinking live
I'm
streams?
I'm thinking podcast for now. Live stream might be a little bit more of a headache at this particular juncture in time. Let me get my training wheels in the podcast, and then we'll see about live streams later on down the road.
Awesome. Just so I can tie you up in string. What's your podcast going to be about, Michael?
Anything I want it to be about, anything and everything, whatever I dream of or dream about the week before
Oh, the week
and
before. I
post
like
it.
that.
Yeah,
The week
because
before.
I have to let the people know that hey, this is what we're going to be discussing. Come along if you want
Uh-huh.
to talk about it. So, you know, and then, invite folks to come and have a chat. It doesn't matter who comes. Anybody can come in. The conversation is what I'm interested in and learning from the conversation as well because it's got to be a subject or a topic that is certainly dear to my heart.
Michael's got a lot of I don't, are you I don't want to interrupt you, Michael.
No, I think he
Is
finished.
he done?
He stopped. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
No.
It's hard when you can't see the lips moving, but
He's breathing. That's the important thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, well,
But
sorry about that.
Michael's very
This
go
connections,
ahead, Michael.
disconnections are connections and disconnections are occurring today. It's a
Mm.
very, very
Uh,
weird day for me today. So I'm sorry about that.
uh,
Hmm.
that's okay. That
You're here.
happens.
You're here. You're here.
That's the main thing, that you're here.
You know,
But Michael has a lot of knowledge in regards to health and fitness. And I
Wow.
really appreciate you, Michael, when you send me these exercise routines, because believe it or not, I share them with the people around me that need them. And I've been taking advantage of the advice. So far everything has been going pretty good.
Oh,
So
that's very nice to hear.
I'm on a journey of getting the old belly down, my friend, if you wonder. So I've been
of course,
working
I'm
out.
dying of laughter. I'm dying of laughter. Yeah.
I I've been working out weekly, and I've been going vegan. Except I have sometimes I'll have cheese. I'll have cottage cheese or yogurt here and there, but most of the time I'm doing vegan, and I noticed that my face has gotten thinner. My double chin went away.
You never had a double chin.
Oh,
You
it's
never.
because I was like this all the time. No.
Oh, Mr. Angelica, you make me laugh. And Mr. Calm, he eats funny food. He is very, he eats funny food. He sends me videos of his food half the time. And I just think how, yeah, it's healthy for sure. But so, what's
Uh,
life without treats, Miss Angelica? What's life without cheats? You know,
What's life
the
without what?
cheats. Cheat food.
Oh, yeah, I'll cheat once in a while.
I try and
'Cause
cheat
you
every day.
Oh, you have cheese every day.
No, I try and cheat. I
You
have to eat
cheat
what
every
I like.
day.
I cheat every day. That's
You
why
know,
I don't have a food regiment. I just eat. I eat what I like. I eat. Look, I suppose I have to eat for my family, right? Yes, I know what I just said. I have to eat for my family. See, what I can't stand, Miss Angelica, is food going to. I can't stand food going in the bin. Food waste, as people call it, right? I can't
yeah, I
take it.
can't stand it either.
If there's food in the kitchen that's going in the bin, I'm gonna eat it. My family normally cringe. They're like, you're gonna get a bellyache. I'm like, I don't care. I'm eating it. And I do get, and I often get bellyache, but it's all right. I go, I'm made of strong stuff, is what I tell myself, right? So
Yes.
I will eat what I want, and I eat everything. Just short of dog and cat food. I leave those alone for the pets, right? But with a vegetarian, my wife, if someone's cooked it, I'm eating it. They like it or not, right? I agree, Sean. It's not cheese, it's flexibility. That's me, or adaptable me, right? And I'm saving the planet, right? I'm saving the planet. That's what I
I
feel.
like that. Being flexible. We do got to be flexible.
We do. So welcome, Superstar Mel. Welcome.
Hello.
Great to have you here. Of course, I love to know your thoughts, my friend. On the best day to post. Do you post your events? Do you schedule your events way in advance? Are you happy to do? Last minute sounds a bit extreme. I tend to do mine a couple of days before the event. And some events I would do before the weekend. Hello, Tracy. We do see you, my friend. So we're coming to you next, right?
Hi, Tracy.
So I tend to post my events based on the LinkedIn week. Now that's how I tend to work. Because the LinkedIn week is a thing it's a thing for me, and I live by that pretty much for my events, right? So for those who don't know, the LinkedIn week is that week when you get your allowance, your 1,000 invites allowance. And I have to maximize that every time. That's not enough for me. I need more, right? LinkedIn, I need more allowance than 1,000, please, a week. Now, so essentially, as long as you send your invites between Sunday 12 a.m., so Sunday night, to Saturday 11:45 p.m., you're fine. You can use your 1,000 invites for this week, right? And then your invites for next week starts again on Sunday morning. So if I want to really maximize those invites, not for me, normally my clients, my friends, I want to use their invites. I'll set the event up before Saturday afternoon. That way they can invite this week's people, and then Sunday morning they can invite another 1,000 people. Yeah, I ask myself, does this give you more people in your events? No. No, sadly, it doesn't give me more people. Some people have, I think, let me try and explain. I think it comes down to your real friends, right? Paulette Hallam, her friends will turn up whenever you invite them. You can invite them 10 minutes before the event, they'll come, right? And let them, at least 30 in the room. 20, 30 in the room on the live stream. In audio, it was nearly 60, 70. Lisa, our Lisa, literally, when she invites her friends to her metamorphosis rooms, they come. Yes, we'll try and give them a few days' notice, but they will turn up anyway. You said, like I said earlier, you and I can fill rooms, Miss Angelica, overnight if we choose to. See, when today's event, I didn't send my 1,000 invites. Because I've got an event tomorrow with a new client. I want to use invites for. Right. I'm saying, but but you're here. So we can. So we can use our allowance. Whether it really gives us more people is a question that I'm doubting. Tracy, how are you doing, Tracy?
Hold on, I'm sorry. I still need to get used to StreamYard. Every time you blow me up, I have to back up.
We like it. We like you blown up.
Thank you, because I don't want to see my pimples.
You always look great, Tracy. You always look great. In your background,
you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous, girl.
Right, because Annie is not showing up on camera today, and I want to add a little color and keep Angelica company. Okay, so
my suit looks just like that. My suit is exactly that color.
Yes,
I can see it on my phone. So on mobile device, you are in the little black and white circle.
Yeah.
On PC, I can see you. You are in this fabulous suit. Really, you look much nicer in suit. Well, yeah, I do like your casual, way, but this is a very professional. I prefer this way. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, so I am. I'm not gonna wear my suit every day. You can't wear a suit for live streams. It's cumbersome, right? Because then you can't see all of me anyway.
For men, that's very tight, right? On the shoulder.
Yeah, and all you can see is my head anyway. You know, it's not,
but you can do a little, pump up.
I dream of the camera where you can see more of us, but I haven't found it yet. Really, I don't know how. So I've got my built-in camera on my computer, but that wasn't cheering me up. I thought that's an Apple thing. That would be a good camera. It's okay. You see what you see. And then I bought more cameras, which why now I've got a problem, right? So I got another camera. It's another HD camera of sorts. Well, it doesn't show any more of me than what the other cameras do. So
we have a show just to talk about the camera angles because
I know.
The turning 45 degree is so smart. I need to learn how to do that. But I want to answer your question because I think this is a very, very good question. What's the best time to set up your live event? I've been thinking about that a lot. When to set up and what's the day that to post my events. And because all my events are scheduled all the way to March 2026, and I have another problem now.
Really?
Yeah, listen to me. Planning ahead sounds good, right? But planning ahead is not LinkedIn friendly because LinkedIn events, they don't show up in chronological order, right? Sometimes they show my events in the past and my new events are actually behind. And I learned it from another post. She said, actually you have to post your events backwards. You do not post the one you think it's going to be chronologically ordered. But, I even talked to LinkedIn. They said, then we can't do anything about it. We're not planning to organize your event page unless you do something about it. Anyway, so I have to manually promote my event, make sure people know what's coming up this week. So that's added work by posting too many events. And another thing about this, what's the best time? The best time, I think, is whatever works the best for you, because there's never going to be a best time for all the audience, right? Audience vary, they have different days, even in different time zones. So whatever works best for you, you are going to have 100% yourself, and you are going to have this super articulated material going out. So that's what I think. It really has to be from the host or the hostess or the co-host. The time works for the host will eventually work out for the audience or for the guest speakers. And I think I just wrote something earlier in the comments, showing up the attendance from the audience is hard to guarantee, but from the guest speakers, from the people you invite, if they take a stake in your show, they will show up 100%. So far, my guest speakers, they have been pretty good, except in one gentleman, he really had a problem with the time difference. It's pretty late in India, my time 12 o'clock, but it's almost midnight in India, so it's hard for him to make it. He's the only one, he did not show up, but he told me ahead of time. So I had my AI assistant came on and use the replacement, but that was pretty fun, just to include the technology. And there's one last thing I want to share with you. I always thought this AI assistant is just a robot, right? But lately I discovered if I say please, and I would say thank you, this machine responds to me a little more friendlier. That's what I will say about the machine. But maybe it just mirror the human behavior. When I was rude, very demanding, I got this very mechanic, robotic response. But when I'm a little bit personal, be friendlier to the robot, I got the similar response. Thank you, Annie.
No, thank you. I love that. So I will ask ChatGPT nicely and say, please, if I want something. It doesn't mean it doesn't screw up. It still screws up, Tracy. It still gives me people with 3 hands. I'm like, what's that? What is that?
You're talking about the AI?
Yeah,
the 6 fingers.
I tell you. Things
Six
that don't
finger
know me
creatures.
there. Things, people that walk on air. You're like, what are you doing? Make them I want them to be normal people who do normal things. Smooth, natural movements. What I asked for, right? Natural.
They're getting better and better. I'll tell you that.
They are. Maybe it's Tracy's idea. Ask them nicely, then you might get what you want, right? Maybe that's the way forward. But Tracy, you make many points I think are important. So this problem of LinkedIn not having a way to list our events. I'll never know why not. It can't be that it can't be that hard. But LinkedIn has struggled forever. Since audio days, LinkedIn has struggled. So when they gave us an events listing page, remember they used to have that, Miss Angelica, for audio?
Yeah, I miss it. It's harder to find people now. It was
really,
easier then.
it's impossible. It's impossible. There's no way, right? You wouldn't know unless if you're part of Dr. Leslie Flowers' list of event people. But the problem with that is that when you put events on late, you don't get on that. You can't get on those lists. LinkedIn does send a list out and a message out and a notification out to me every so often. Well, probably once a week. But it's not my friends; it's random people. But then again, I ring everyone's bell because I want to know when events are on, right? So LinkedIn doesn't know who my real friends are and who are not my real friends, apparently. So it just sends me a random list of people and it goes, oh, look at all these events you can join. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it, right? But I wish LinkedIn would work out a way. But so even that list we're talking about, Miss Angelica, it was backward. It wasn't chronological.
You're right.
It was random.
It was random.
I mean, you thought you could just say, show me today's events, please. That's all I want to see. Which events are on today? But LinkedIn just couldn't do it. And then sometimes you have to go to page 20 to find out to see something that's on today, accidentally. So it's a real problem. And I was hoping StreamYard or Restream or these platforms that we stream with would at least list the events we have with them. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Mel says we have to think across time zones, and the time zones. It's an issue. Of course, it is. As Tracy just mentioned, if someone's in India, what's the time now? So essentially, it's nighttime for them. So our times just doesn't work. Some daytimes work, but you have to be very, very, what's the word? Very, very lucky to really know. Well, you have to do the work to know where you are, right? And you can't cater for everyone. I don't think anyone can, right? It's a problem. Australia has 4 time zones, by the way. That's one country. US has 4 time zones. I'm saying, how can you cater? I can't even cater for US, let alone, do I go for Eastern? Do I go Pacific? Do I go for, Central? Do I go for Mountain? I'm saying, God help us, right? We're in trouble. But Tracy says, just do what works for you, and I guess they will show up, right? It's a conundrum. Mike, I see what you're saying. Mike says another reason to stream to multiple platforms. You see, Tracy did say we should talk about the different platforms there are. I think we should. There's a conversation I want to have because maybe the next room on this one, right? Where are you streaming to? And are you getting results? I know there's a platform for streaming that lets you stream to 45 places. This is what I'm talking about this now, right? Well, no, this will be our next conversation 2 weeks' time. 45 places. How many places are you on, Miss Angelica?
When it comes to the world?
Yes, social media. Call it that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the different countries in LinkedIn.
No. Which platform?
No, I'm on. So I have a Twitter. I have Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Okay, that's 4. Instagram.
TikTok. TikTok, yeah.
Okay, so now we're on 6.
Tiki-talkie.
Right.
Tiki-talkie.
We're on 6.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's most people. That's how, no, I post to Pinterest every so often.
That's what I need to get on. I need to get onto the Pinterest wagon. I don't want to be left behind.
It will still have 38 channels that this platform streams to. What's the point?
Wow.
If we're not on there, what's the point? If we're not there, is there really a point? This is the next time conversation. Tracy, if you have a thought, please feel free.
I think it really depends on your audience. Both you and Angelica, you are B2C, right? And I'm B2B. I'm B2B, then LinkedIn is #1 platform. I can't think of anything else. And plus, I just want to be one platform at the moment. I need to focus. I think for me, at the beginning of the year, I think I joined Daryl's talk about New Year resolutions, and I talked about clarity, focus, and service, and that's what I focus on right now, because deliver value for sure. You know, all of you are delivering fabulous values, but the audience, who is your audience, who are on the platform, is very important. And the engagement here, LinkedIn is enormous, and people are ready to buy anytime because they are ready, right? They're ready customer, very, I would say, well educated in consumer consumption, you know, all these industries. So when I always invite industry specific audience. And sometimes I have a very small network just for that specific industry, but that's okay because my guest speakers can invite his network, and I multiply. That's why I prefer 3 people talking. I'm the moderator, these 2 panelists talking, and because we can easily times 3. And for me, interviewing another person is basically just another venue for me to try out if people like to talk about themselves. Sometimes they don't want to talk about themselves. They want to talk about industry issues, to solve a problem, address a concern, and that's their goal. So they like to do indirect sale. That's okay too. It really depending the audience, their perception. So platform, you know, you can go multiple, as many as you can, but one thing I learned from a YouTuber is you can do multiple platform streaming, but you need to have your eyes on your main one. Otherwise, you'll be so distracted, right? You are the tech person, you are the show host, and you are the coordinator, and you have to interact with the audience. That's a lot. We are only one person. We're not a robot. And then you know, you show up like less than 100%, and audience will now come back, right? Especially your new audience. Thank you, Andy.
No, you're 100% right. 100%. You know, LinkedIn is where I am all day, and you know, I'm on Facebook, but I don't really use it. I don't post there. I post there because I have buffer, which helps me schedule posts, right? But I don't engage, so I get nothing from it. Not a thing. Not a pick. You know, not a buy you leave. You know, and that's a waste of my time, right? You know, if maybe the conundrum is, if I was there more, would I get more response? And do I get no response because I'm not there? Who knows, right? Well, LinkedIn, like you say, Tracy, we can make money every day. If you deliver something useful, people will use LinkedIn. LinkedIn users will support you, and they'll buy. You know, they'll do business with you. And also, I can do business with them. That's the other thing, right?
Because you built the trust here.
Yeah.
You built the trust. Speaking of which, I need to say bye-bye, guys. I love you. Gotta head to work.
We always miss you, Miss Angelica. You always leave us way too soon.
I hope that I leave you guys wanting more. Love you.
You always do. Oh, hold on. Can I play your video? Let me try and play your video.
Oh yeah, that's right. The cartoon. Forgot all about it.
Let me see if it works. Let me see if it works, because it's rather weird. It's on my WhatsApp. Yeah, there you are. Miss Angelica's creation for the world.
Oh, it looks super tiny, huh?
No. Make it a bit bigger. There you go. That's bigger, right? Here it goes.
Speak, Liz. What treasure be waiting for us today? I found a treasure chest filled with expired crackers.
What tricks are you be planning now, you feathered fiend?
Right behind you, sneaking like a seaweed monster.
That's it. Polly, why didn't you warn me sooner?
Squawk! Captain, move those sea legs faster. If we don't, they'll make a pirate pancake out of ye.
You be telling tales of this chase in every tavern from here to Tortuga.
And I expect a proper celebration. Crackers, rum, and maybe a shiny hat for yours truly. What'll it be? Rum, whiskey, ale, or maybe a fancy cocktail? I'll take a sea breeze. Extra salty with a side of crackers.
That's cheered me out.
Isn't that cute? I like the ending. He's a non-alcoholic beverage person.
Which is rather
Music is the best.
That was fun.
And I deep down, Miss
Okay,
Angelica is a
Angelica.
video maker. You know, she's a great video maker. That's where I found her in the first place, right? And then and then everything else she does apart from that. Now, well done, you, Miss.
Multi-passionate.
You are that. You are that indeed.
You
Look,
guys
enjoy
too.
your day. Enjoy your
Okay,
day.
you
Take
guys
care, Miss
keep
Angelica.
shining, my friends.
Yeah. Bye,
Love you.
Miss Angelica. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So now let's continue the conversation, my friends. And I think that as Lisa says, she's lucky to have a wonderful LinkedIn community. I think that's where the answer to our question today lies, really, right? You know, you can follow a process, you can do whatever you like, I think. But if you don't know people, if you don't have that community, those friends on LinkedIn who you support and who will support you in return, I think your events are always going to be. It's not always. You know, there's many tricks people do, right, which can help. You know, befriend Meryl, for example. Befriend Kenny. You know how Mr. Kenny, you know, awesomeness, savory flavor, Kenny, right? These people, they'll always send DMs in your events for you. Sometimes before the events. You know, I mean, I could ask whether that helps. I'm sure it helps. You know, it's better that people know and come than don't know and don't come to your events, right? Yeah, and so Alavine says, "You're in the studio, Alavine. You like to be told on the day of the event." No, same as me. And tell me on the day. So I'm not going to put it in my diary. I'm going to show up if I can. But you have to, I have to know when it's on. If I don't know when it's on, then I'm not coming, right? Let's talk to Alavine. Welcome, Alavine. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now. Sorry, I took you off stage. I said, let's talk to you, and then I took you off stage.
Yes.
So, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm wonderful. I am happy to be with you today. So thank you for the DM. And yeah, if I receive a notification months before the event, I would forget it. I know that a lot of time it is the same. I registered it. I said, oh, I would attend that because I'm really interested on the topic. But because months passed and often weeks passed by, and I said, oh, I missed it. I missed the boat, and I said, oh, that's not good. But when I receive day to day, so today for today on the event, it is okay. I will reschedule if I have to reschedule something. I will change things if I have to do, but I will be around. I will try to be around. If I can be on stage, I will stay in the listening section. I will listen. I can do two things at the same time, so it is better for me to receive day to day, the not before. And also, I think it depends on the person. It is not about everyone. Not everyone appreciate to receive something on the day, because they don't like to have to change their schedule at the last minute. They need time to schedule everything, to create a slot for that, and that is up to the person That is my point of view about this, and I hope everyone is going well here. That's it. I finished to speak for the moment.
My bad, my bad. I forgot to unmute myself, and I was talking, by the way. So I said I love your honesty. So my question to those in the audience, and to you and Tracy, well, I guess I know you answer Adavi. How many of you ever diarize an event? So put an event in your diary because you really want to join it. Tracy, you flash your mic. If you do, my friends in the audience, just put a 1 in the comments.
I do. I write down the time, so I will be there, and also I will intentionally add it to my calendar, my Google Calendar, which I take a look at that the night before, and that's how I do it. And I think a certain percentage, if not all, will be at least a half or 50-60% of them are actually doing it, but getting onto their calendar. That's the key.
Yeah, I agree with you. It seems that our friends in the audience, they're not responding to my question because they haven't put, and I don't say anyone who puts in a diary any events that they might want to go to. It might even RSVP. But Tracy, you are unique, and you are a gift to those who are your friends. I'll say that for sure, right? I never put any.
Thank you, Annie. Being unique is not really a good thing. It can be uniquely good or uniquely bad. It depends.
Yeah, wait, no, you're uniquely good. You're uniquely loyal. Uniquely, what's the word? Committed, consistent, all the good things about being unique, right? So it's like I say, I RSVP for events every day.
Sometimes you want to be just, ordinary. If you are a little bit too different, I think there's a certain boundary that you do not want to cross, right? You don't want to be the one that's really, people look at you and thinking, she's weird. You definitely don't want to be like that.
They would never think that.
Different, but don't be weird. Yes.
Yes. The good side of unique. I hear you. It's better to stay there, right? But but I think it helps to stand out. It helps to be yourself, because we're all unique. If there's only one version of us, right? Exactly as we are. So I think we have to embrace that. And whether it's my suits, whether it's Tracy putting your events in her diary, but we will have our unique ways. Now, Mike, I see Mike says that I'm boosting my purpose for encouragement. Is that what it is, Mike? Needful, in my honest opinion, especially amongst us males of the species, rather than competition and collaboration. I agree with you. So that's where Mike's amazing long what's the eulogies to all of us, even though we're still alive, right? The kind words he says. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about, this is one of Mike's encouragement to our beloved Mel. He says, "Here walks Mel, tending the soil of understanding with human design, spiritual gifts, and trustworthy resources. You cultivate spaces where people feel safe to grow, guiding them with patience and care. Every seed you plant carries encouragement and wisdom, and the harvest is community that feels rooted and nourished. Your steady presence in the sun is a sunlight that helps many others find their way. Mel is a true treasure." See that? Mike, you have brain space, clearly. As far as that goes, is think well of my friends and then tell them that they're superstars. And actually mean that
not only he has the brain space, he also has the eyesight space. And every time I look at his profile picture pumped up on the comments, and it reminds me of this particular person. You should know, Annie, very famous in your country, Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, yeah. Well,
he has the detective, very scrutinizing eyes.
we know of him, saying he was way before my time, old Sherlock, right?
How old is that character? 200 years? No,
Yeah. Well, at least now 50s, 60s, at least, right? Sorry, Mike. So now you put in the comments, Mike. Of course, I say I don't say my DMs. So this. I've just sent you the link, Mike. So if you want to join the studio, please, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome, right? So some amazing comments. Say, Jay, I see you. Gladys, I see you as well. So thank you so much. Let me go through the comments. Zara as well. Right. Okay. So I think Anthony made a comment about Gemini, which is an AI software. Okay, no, let's talk about Sean for a second before I go to Anthony's. I think I'm trying to not miss anyone's amazing comments, right? So Sean says, I found that inviting too far in advance, and people tend to forget on the day. So the reminders are also quite important. I agree. I think maybe there is a happy mix, right? It's in create the event in advance and then do your DMs, your last minute DMs, even in event DMs. I tend to do in event DMs more these days. Now there are those, as Alavin said, the people who want to schedule, who want to plan, right? And there's some who just hate being given information last minute. But frankly, you know what? I'm not believing that people, those who, not many people are going to schedule your event in their diaries. Even if you tell them a year in advance, they still won't be there anyway. So when I get a DM response complaining, oh, I need to plan, give me at least a few days notice, I'm like, I give you notice as I can. If you can make it, great. If you can't make it, stop messaging me. Talk about something else instead. Because now I have to respond to your messages, which gives me a headache, right? So I hear what you're saying totally, Mr. Sean. So social. Look, the social proof thing, the herd effect, which this comes down to the RSVPs. A lot of people place a lot of value on the RSVPs. Oh, I got 200 RSVPs. And my thinking is, so what? No, it doesn't show. It doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me how many are going to be there because they're not all going to turn up, right? On a good day, I think you'd be lucky if you get 10% of the people you invite to RSVP, and if you'd be very lucky to get 10% of those, which is 20, right? If you have 200 RSVPs actually turn up on the day, often you're lucky to have 10. If you don't do what Sean was talking about earlier, which is send the last minute reminder, right? The on the day reminder, the in event reminder. RSVPs give us nothing at all. Go on, sorry, who was that?
So it's me, Aravind. So you're right about the fact some people would prefer receive a notification and RSVP, but they won't come anyway. I have a friend here, and every week he has a meeting, but every week he said, oh, I can't because I have this or that to do. I think it is just a way to find an excuses to say, yes, I need to schedule in advance. I can do if I receive a message at last minute, an RSVP on the day, so I need more time to prevent, so to plan, excuse me. So, and at the end they won't come. Then it is right that we need to see the fact in and to admit, yes, I will not come at any case. I will not come because I will find an excuse. That is my point about the fact. Yes, it is not about receiving a last minute message or something like a month before. It is about excuses we will make or not.
Right, I agree with you 100%. I agree. Look, maybe for me the most beautiful thing is when it feels like I'm playing Daredevil, I'm playing Mr. Adventurer, right? Head in the sand, my bum in the air, hoping for the best, right? That's to say. These days, we have many events where you have very few RSVPs. Very few. For this show, for example, I think we had 5 RSVPs because I didn't send my 1,000 invites. That would have given me 100 or so RSVPs. And so literally, but I love the fact that we can do events without RSVPs and your real friends will turn up. See, but that's not by magic, right? It comes back to what Lisa was saying earlier. Build that community of people. You need people to see your notification. You need people to actually ring your bell. That way they get notified by LinkedIn. Even though I'll be the first one to admit LinkedIn is, like all social media, they're very lame at sending notifications. But then if you think about how they work, there's too many people. All of us have rang too many bells, is my point, right? LinkedIn doesn't know whether to show them or not show them. It doesn't. If you pick 100 people, social media platforms, the algorithms struggle to know whether to show your posts, your message, your event to 10 people, and that's just a broken system that we have to live with on social media these days. Which is where DMs come into it. We have to be more active ourselves. That's my personal take. But those who aren't coming ain't gonna come. Whatever you do, I agree with you entirely, Adovine. If someone's complaining about how when you invite them, ignore them. They weren't gonna show up anyway. Sometimes I'm quite belligerent, so I'll carry on inviting that person. Maybe my biggest inviting list is the top of my DM. Those who are further down in my inbox, I'm not going to invite them because they're down there. There's a reason they're down there. Whereas those at the top are the ones I invite all the time, and of those, I know which ones would turn up. That's why they're at the top of my list, right? And then you have to learn to work your DM as well, my friends. Tracy,
you stole my thunder on my response. I was going to say the best time to set up your live event is when your audience shows up.
Well, I haven't said that yet, right? So you've said it, so it's fine.
But what I mean by that, and it's tying all this stuff that we've said or that I've heard already, is that you have to know your audience and you have to develop that community. You and Tracy and others all know or should who their community is, who their audience is. So the challenge, I think, and you've hit this also, is LinkedIn, for instance, is like I try to find your shows and I don't know when they're coming on. And even so if I've RSVP'd, it doesn't show up for some reason. So, there is a challenge with the technology. That's number one. Number two, I think you also have to know, as knowing part of your audience, you have to know what you want your exposure to be and where you can put your highest priority. And again, as a businessman or whatever, if your highest exposure is in the US, then you kind of need to focus on the US market, right? And then you have to do an MBT. For those that don't know, it's minimum viable test as to what time it is. So you may have to do, for a month or something, just pick, the best times. And one of the things I said is because I'm in between positions right now, I'm very available. But I think you also have to remember, again, depending on your audience, where is their availability? Normally, if you're in a 9 to 5, you're not going to be able to, switch on to LinkedIn. And then I can't remember who said it, but then I think maybe Melanie, you have to look at maybe Team Replay as opposed to Team Live. So those are those challenges. And then there's other people that are working on the reuse of your content, like on Substack. And then, like I said, I think one of my challenges, because I'm in cybersecurity, is thinking, don't put all your eggs in the LinkedIn basket. And I understand what Tracy's saying, but at the same time, what happens if, and this has been, I've been on shows, even yours, and LinkedIn just blows up. And I have to restart, LinkedIn again. So there's a lot of things that go into this, but at the very root of it, I think it's know your audience, build that community, and then figure out the best time for them to show up. That's my share.
No, thank you. So, lots of genius there. So I think you cover many of the points. I think we do need to appreciate and leverage the replays more. I'm guilty of not doing so. So I was going to show you. I'm sure. Were you at Keith's show yesterday, Mike? I think you were. I'm not sure if you were.
I was in the comments.
Okay.
There was a reason that I've stayed off stage. We could talk about that privately.
Yeah. No, I was there. I wasn't even in the comments. So but I'll leave that. I'll leave that for now, right? So but I think so building that community of people is so important. Who are your real friends? You see, I've got friends, I've got clients, co-hosts, call them what you like, right? They can invite 1,000 people and they'll be lucky to get 5 RSVPs. 5. Like I say, the usual number on a good day for most of us is 10%. Invite 1,000, you get 100 RSVPs. Of that 100, if 10 turn up, you're doing great. If you put a bit more effort in, then and get the things right, as Mike is talking about, you might get more. You might get to 20. 30 is the magic number. It always has been for me, even from the audio days. But then we got past 30 to get to 100 quite easily. So once you build those friends of yours, those friends who will support you, those friends who you support too, then events just work like a dream. Yes, it might seem like you've got the same people turning up, Mike, but I think all you really want at each event is a couple more new people. The friends bring their friends, right? And eventually your number will grow exponentially. That's all you can hope for. So but if you're that person who no one knows because you don't know many people yourself, I know what I'm trying to say. Look, you need to get to know your connections. You also need to pay attention to what Mike's saying. You need to know who turns up. See, when I invite my 1,000 people, half my time is spent deleting those who I know won't turn up. Those who I know, some of them I know as friends, as real friends, but I know they will never turn up. So there's no point in wasting my invite on them, right? I think we'll need to learn how to invite those who will turn up for us, who will add something to our conversation. You see, my biggest trick is I've got my real friends are my WhatsApp. Before I invite anyone on LinkedIn, I go to my WhatsApp first. They will get the invite to the event. They will get the link to speak. And I know I'm guaranteed a good few, at least a handful of speakers. On a good day, you've seen this. I have 10 speakers, 20, 15 speakers, because the issue is important to my network, right? To my friends. So you have to know who you're inviting. And I saw Mel say somewhere, I never use my 1,000 invites. I understand. I get you, Mel. If they want to all turn up, what's the point in inviting and wasting your connections on that? But I think we can find others who will turn up. Sorry, Sean. Sean wants the speaking link as well. So let me send that to Sean. Sean, did I send that to you already? I thought I did. No.
Hey,
Go on, Mike.
Just real quick, and this is to put a bug in Tracy's ear. LinkedIn to me is not incenting people to watch. And what I mean by that is generally now there's a model that they boost your reach, right? For a fee. YouTube is basically doing that for free. So I'm going to put a bug in Tracy's ear to think. I'm not saying she has to go do it, but that YouTube makes money when people, watch the content. So you can grow your YouTube audience. And I understand that she's saying that LinkedIn is business and that she's doing B2B. But there's going to be a lot of people that are YouTube consumers as B2B as well. And I'm just saying, just to think about maybe having YouTube and LinkedIn, and you can have cross-platform germination, so to speak. But I've seen people that have done this, started on LinkedIn and went to YouTube, and their YouTube is taking off. And it is a bit of a challenge, I know. I mean, you can see here, you have some, it looks like Mel is on YouTube. So, and you can see them. I think people just need to think about multiple platforms because, again, from a cyber perspective, YouTube's been flaky of late and glitchy, and like I said, I even get kicked out right in the middle of a show. So it's something to think about.
Yeah, no, look, I agree with you. I guess it's not. I guess before live streams, when they had LinkedIn, that was the only place. So your show link went on LinkedIn, full stop. That was it, right? I appreciate the point you're making, Mike, which is that at least now we can stream to multiple channels. Yes, I still see some hosts who don't stream anywhere apart from LinkedIn, which I agree with you, Mike. It's crazy, right? Because we can get kicked off LinkedIn at the drop of a hat. We all can. No one's that special to LinkedIn that LinkedIn will say, I'm not going to kick you off. Or for whatever reason. Change of name, wrong picture, wrong comments here or there. The LinkedIn suspects or someone reports you for something that you don't even know about. I'm saying, we're not safe anywhere. And so I appreciate streaming to Facebook and YouTube, even though, like I said, I don't use Facebook at all. YouTube, events have made my YouTube blow up, Mike. My YouTube was going nowhere. Tumbleweed, I called it, right, for years. But now with events, I have people on my YouTube every day. When I have shows, especially, right, and they all count. They count towards your watch hours. See, the real question I think you're asking, Mike, is when do we migrate our events to YouTube? This is a question for everyone to answer, and I'm sure you've all seen it. People do it. Dr. Constance does it regularly. She has her events set up on LinkedIn, but the link is to her YouTube channel. I see Karen and Joan Williams, for example, Karen Pascal and Joan Williams, the Empowerment of Mind, Body, and Soul sisters. They stream their shows everywhere, as well as they always emphasize YouTube these days. They were emphasizing Facebook for a while. I think LinkedIn upset them somewhere, so they moved this. They don't really focus on the LinkedIn side of things. But I can see the day, Mike, when we'll have to stream to YouTube, or from to YouTube from YouTube. Even I know it's only a look because StreamYard can look like it comes from anywhere, right? We have to learn to be multi-channel, multi-platform, as you say, Mike. Go on. I see you're on mute, Mike.
Well, and there is also a subscriber model. There is no subscriber model that I'm aware of on LinkedIn. So if you want to sort of raise, I don't even know what to call it, but the draw or obviously to get paid for it, but it also sort of sets your content apart. So, if you have, for lack of a better word, multi-tiered content, you can say top of funnel, whatever. But at some point, maybe you want to say, hey, I'm interested in developing a kind of publishers only show, right? Authors only show So the top of funnel is your other shows, but then you say somewhere in the show, oh, by the way, I have this other offering, and this is specifically for people that are interested in authoring or actual authors, to attend, for a small fee. And so you can do that on LinkedIn. I mean, sorry, YouTube, apparently very easily. So you can have, and even then you can have multi-tiers, and in LinkedIn you can have content that's only paid subscriber, and then your free version. So even there you can kind of have a top of funnel lead in, and then your subscribers. It's just again something to think about.
No, it's where we're all going. So I think I'm seeing a lot more conferences, paid events, seminars, call it what you like, right? That are coming between now and the end of the year, for example, where people are trying to migrate their LinkedIn audience to, usually to Zoom. Because Zoom is quite flexible, adaptable. Zoom works, right? You can gate your link on, your event link on Zoom. The one that doesn't work quite as well is Google Meets. You can host loads of people on there, but then it's such an open platform that I've seen people hijack shows. I've seen the audience essentially hijack the show because they can play their videos when they want. They can comment when they can speak when they want. Whereas YouTube, I'm not sure about YouTube. I haven't tried it in that way, Mike. But I think Zoom gives you a lot more control. About who comes into your room and what they can do while they're there. But we do have to look across and think a bit wider. Sean, I've sent you the link for the StreamYard. Please check your DMs. If anyone else wants to join us, time is running out for the person. I would love to hear from you for sure. Now, I think maybe your biggest point, Mike, that I want to pick up on before I come back to you in a second, right, is reposting. We need to. I'm lazy, and again, I heard on Keith's show. The show was saying how Substack does amazing things. It'll break up your show, into clips, and send that to you for you to use as posts. That's a good way to repost. Again, I said I'm old school. I hate shorts. I hate clips. It's not I hate. I don't like them because they're sound bites, and I don't like sound bitey marketing. I like content that gives value. But if someone's going to give you those ready-made content that you've got already to post, I know your numbers can go up extraordinarily. And I really shared one of my authors' videos as shorts, and my views went up tremendously especially on YouTube, tremendously, but in thousands, as opposed to usually tens, or a couple of hundred if I'm lucky. But now I'll utilize more shorts. But I think you can too, my friends. If you want more views on your recordings, use shorts. And there's platforms that will make it for you. I don't know whether it's paid for or not, Mike. So feel free, Mike.
I was gonna say cheekily, it's not about you. And what I mean by that is, how do I get the attention of people that I want to see? See my stuff. Again, that's top of funnel. It's not. It's not about your. It's not about your content. It's about getting eyeballs on your content.
Mike, hold on a second, Mike. Hold on a second. I agree with you, but I don't. Right. The problem I have is this: your shorts. It's not going to engage anyone to come and buy from you. That really pisses me off, right? It's like sugar to a sugar addict. That's why I just don't like it. That's what yes, I agree. It's my preference. I'm stating what I'm saying, but deep down, it doesn't help my clients. That's my objection to it. It's not the medium per se. It's the fact that we don't see the benefits in terms of real engagement, in terms of real numbers, in terms of purchases, inquiries. So I hear what you're saying, Mike. Yes, it's not about me, but all I'm trying to do is help my clients sell. And I know what sells. What sells is meaningful content, giving value. Go on, Mike. I'll let you please say what you're gonna say.
Well,
How you doing,
I'm just
Sean?
I'm trying to think, because like the Scott show, the launch. How do I get eyeballs on the launch? That's what we want to do, right? Because we want to sell the book. So will a short prior to the the show get eyeballs to the show? That's all I'm saying. And if the answer is no, that's why you do
Yes,
the MVD. If the
right.
answer is no, then the answer is no, and you release that. But I'm just thinking, like, I'll give you an example. I was exposed to Joe Rogan initially through someone, I don't even know if it was him, was doing some sort of shorts. And so I didn't know Joe Rogan. And then all of a sudden I saw his shorts and I go, ooh, this looks interesting. And he has long form stuff. So, because he was one of the ones, he wasn't the first one, but he was one of the ones that did the long form content. And I probably wouldn't have known about him if they weren't called shorts back then. They were just clips someone had clipped and kind of had a clip channel. But again, just something to think about. I relinquish the mic to the wonderful Sean Michael.
Yes, and I'm minded to show your eulogy for Sean. Sean, I know you're not dead yet, Sean. But center stage Sean appears. Who reminds us with steady wisdom that the truest role we can play is ourselves. Yeah, that's poetry, right? Your focus on guiding people back to who they really are shows patience, courage, and compassion. That's you, Sean. In every scene, you create space for authenticity, and the audience leaves lighter because of it. Curtain call for a director of the heart stage. That's you, Sean. Mike, how do you think of these things? And really, it's a real question.
I have a poet's heart, so I'm always trying to figure out sort of what is at the root of people and how they're coming across, and what it's not value in a business sense. It's value in a human sense. And I believe we all want to be seen, heard, and valued. And how we express that and how we bring that to other people is really special. And so that's what I'm trying to do in these little encouragement notes, is to maybe capture a little bit of that and encourage people in their path to being their true selves.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's wonderful what you do. I mean that sincerely. Even though I fear what you might say about me, but leave that alone, Mike. Leave that alone, right? Leave that well alone. So and look, and you have something there, Mike. You have something there. I think elevating and boosting others can only help us. A lot of people don't realize by elevating others, we elevate ourselves. They think we're giving it away. But I'm truly with you. If I would, the best way to elevate myself is what I do, which is elevate everyone else around me. Because then the audience thinks, oh, that Annie is such a nice guy. Look at him. I want to know more about him. And that's how I live, right? This event to give me the magic, window to the world to elevate my friends. It's a great thing to do. You keep doing it, my friend. Keep doing it.
Well, and Annie, I think true leaders, and this goes back to the mindset of scarcity versus abundance, but I think true leaders will uplift other people. That's what they do.
I agree 100%. I agree.
Because if we have a mindset of scarcity and we're trying to hold on to whatever success is, I don't think we're going to attract the people that are going to make us successful. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think in Sean's world, that's almost disingenuous, right? Almost, to not elevate others, it's almost criminal, because it goes counter to our true nature, to give, to elevate others, and to, not be selfish. As you say, live in a world of lack. It's a good thing. Sean, we're talking about you as if you're not here, right? Talk to us, my friend. Talk to us.
How often do you get to be a fly on the wall? Like
In your
that,
own conversations?
No, when I read Mike's words, it did warm my heart. And on your topic about scheduling, I have found by consistently showing up every Monday, because that's the vision. I wanted to kick off the week with, helping people shift their mindset so we can have, if we start the week off right, the rest of the week flows. So that was my vision with the show. And I actually asked on a recent show if this time was good, the time that I have is good, or should I change it? And the consensus was, nope, leave it alone. It's right. It's good right where it is. And that's the other thing. I find knowing your audience, communicating with the audience, is this a workable time for you? And when you guys were talking about elevating others, it reminded me of a quote by Zig Ziglar, who said, "You will get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want." Because a rising tide lifts all the boats.
Indeed. I think it's a way of being, right? It's a way of being. That's more in line with our natural selves, our real selves. Now, to be anything else is almost counter, intuitive. It's against our true nature. But it's a thing you learn, Sean. It's a thing we learn as we get wiser in life, right?
Absolutely. And it's, there was talk about the cheats, right? It's about being flexible in all things. Who we're being is changeable.
Yeah.
You can be what you want to be. And that's the action. I've actually learned techniques to work with people to help them, because we tend to say, well, I'm not creative, or I'm this. And maybe it's a desirable trait, maybe it's not. But it's moldable. We can change who we are to be better, to be more positive, and bring more good into the world by being ourselves, right? I'm not talking about, being fake. I'm, being who we are at our core, right?
Yeah. Right. So who we are at our core. Sure, but that's a big conversation, right? Who are we really? Who are we deep down? And I think happy, positive is it's a natural state. But I said this is an argument that I'm sure you've had many times with many people, right? But elevating others, it costs us nothing. And I guess as soon as these events came in, I realized it was a way to get my friends seen and heard more at no expense to myself at all. I think most people who do events come to that realization, especially someone like Tracy, who is actively seeking not to share her knowledge of the world per se, to share other people's knowledge and to share other people's genius. It's a way of being. It's a way, I say, thankfully, those who do events understand it and they do more of it. I say probably no one does it better than Ms. Zara. With helping people to do a podcast. No point pointing your headphones. If your headphones don't work, if they don't work, you only know after the event. How are you? Doing?
Okay. Hi everyone. Hi Annie, Tracy. Hi Sean.
Oh,
hi everyone.
Okay, so sorry, I haven't helped by hiding everyone. Mike is there as well.
Hello, Mike. Hi. Wednesday is good. Wednesday's been very busy, Annie. Sean, how are you today? Oh my God, because Mondays and Wednesdays are very busy days for me. Monday is where Sean taught me one thing. Do not plan anything, just let things fall into place. Sean, I tried it. Do you know those sticky papers that you like stick everywhere, the little post-its? I removed them off my wall. And do you know what? I cannot
Thank
remember why I
goodness.
removed them.
Well, you can't remember what was on them in the first place, right?
No, but I can. But the thing that Sean said was remarkable because Sean is on Substack, and a lot of what he says, like a lot of like planning things, Sean, because we're very structured in how we do things, right? And sometimes we just have to like let go and just see, like just see what happens. But Sean, I'm autistic. Sean, or Annie, autism does not work when you have to see what happens, because this is the thing. Sean, do you remember one of our oh my God, do you remember, Annie, you were on a discovery call with a woman called Chantal, who's moved Black excellence to the UK?
Of course.
Completely forgot about her, Sean, today. Completely forgot about her. I got a call this morning at 4 in the morning. And you know how I live in the hours that people are asleep from 4 in the UK, from 4. So from 4 until 9, that's when everything gets organized and put into like diaries, and we read books like Watching How the English Behave. We read books like that in the morning. No. Annie, Sean says a lot of remarkable things, and I take a lot of Sean's advice from Substack, because I think with Sean, speaking about like the momentum and the last mile and, understanding our authentic self, and he is the identity disruptor. Ever since I've known Sean, my identity has been disrupted probably like 9 times, Sean. So thank you very much. And now I'm here doing like 6 episodes on a podcast, and I'm still loading things in the other computer. But yeah, hi guys, hi everyone. That's it, Annie. I'm done.
No. I love the spotlight to be shone on my friends. His name is Sean as well. It just fits the words, right? But as a podcaster, Zara, is there a good day for podcasts? Is there a good day? Is there a bad day? What can we learn about your scheduling?
Yes, Thursdays are very good days, because if you look at someone like Graham Coath puts every single day, he has a poll up, right? And he doesn't really look at the statistics from the poll. He looks at like the comments. And I normally go on that because, as you know, I had a podcast before, and this is a new. So this podcast that I have now, which is Real Talk Reclaim, it's, bringing people's identity and their brands forward. And I've noticed when I post on Thursdays, I don't really care about the analytics. I care about the comments. I care about the feedback, the critique, because I think that because my podcast is listened to, as you know, Sean, as you know, Annie, it's listened to people everywhere, not just in the UK. My demography. Sean, help me out here. Yo solo hablo español, no sabe la palabra en inglés. I don't know the word in English. What is demography in English?
Can't hide me. You're English yourself.
Demography.
You said it.
Or demographics. We say demographics.
Yes.
And I think that's, you highlight a good point.
Mm-hmm.
You say Thursday, and that works for your audience because you
Yes.
understand your demographics.
Yes.
Tracy's Thursdays might not work for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key, is being aware of who your audience is, who are you trying to reach, when are they available, what days a week, what time, like your time shifting, right? Because you're in the UK and you're working with people on the other side of the world who, I work with people in Japan. It's like 14 hours difference. It's like, it's my morning, it's their nighttime. It's my afternoon, it's their early morning. So we have to play into that and be willing to experiment. that's why I brought the question up on Monday, is because I've had good turnouts, I've had low turnouts. And of course, like you said, Annie, invites are valuable, trying to do your invites for LinkedIn Live strategically. I don't usually hit the limit because I think I just crossed over 1,000 connections.
Yes, you have. I checked. Well done, Sean. Well done.
Previously, I could just invite all my connections and not worry about it. But, being strategic on your connections and your invites, it's very powerful for LinkedIn Live. I think there's a power sometimes in shorts, but again, it's about understanding your audience. I've posted shorts, I've posted reels, and it's meh. My response, like you mentioned, my Substack response on Substack is much higher.
Yes.
And finding, using the tools, using the data to adjust. And, if it's not working,
definitely
do something different.
Yes,
Brilliant.
definitely.
I agree. Look, I'm very selective who I invite to my events. So there was a day in the early days of audio where I would invite everyone. Look, if you want to fill a room, it's not rocket science. So if numbers matter that much to you, then invite. Focus on Asia, focus on Africa. They will come. They will come in the hundreds. Literally, they'll RSVP in the thousands, and they will come in numbers, right? At best of times, depending on the topic you're talking about. If you talk mindset, especially, they will come. The issue for me, and which is what changed my approach to become more strategic, as you're saying, Shaw, was that my clients, it was last year, so 2024, a couple of years into audio. My clients were like, stop inviting those people. They don't buy anything. And I was like, but my friend, we've got 100 in a room. Aren't you happy? They're like, no, we didn't sell a single thing to anyone. So I decided there and then to focus on Americans. They're the ones who buy stuff.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if anyone wants to know the trick to monetize events on LinkedIn, even on podcasts, I'm sure. Focus on Americans, Canadians. Now they will spend, if they want something, they'll buy it. Even the British are a bit. I'm not sure. You're like, what do you mean you're not sure? You want which one is it? And they're like, I want it, but and then so I'm just like, I'm not inviting you. But now I've got a new client on tomorrow who wants British people to come to his event. So I need to build a British audience of engaged people. That's the word I'm looking for, Sean. People actually do engage. They will turn up and they will engage. They will make inquiries of my friends' services and products, and they will buy if it's good for them. That's my game, right? So I'm thinking, like you say, you have to be very strategic to know who are you inviting. Which Americans am I inviting? Who does turn up, who does engage. Again, I think there's a hidden point in all of this conversation, Sean, which is you want to keep inviting people who are prospects.
Yes.
Is it for you or for your clients or for your guests? They're the ones you want to invite, because our events are a great touch point. If someone comes to Sean's event because Annie's there, that might be the place where they go, Annie, can you help me? I'm like, why didn't you ask me in my room 2 hours ago when you were there? They're like, well, I didn't think of it then. Here I am, right? I'm saying, so our events now it's a window to the world, to our customers, and you have to know who they are to keep inviting them and when you invite them, engage them. Please engage them. Don't just leave them there. I know who's in my audience, because I know most people, right? That I invite for a reason. That's being strategic, right?
Annie, I have a question for you, Annie.
Are you sure? Let's put it to everyone, and never put a question just to anyone.
So, Annie, today I had a B2B discovery call. I'm not going to call it a discovery call. I'm going to call it making money, right? Today I needed to make money. So I thought to myself, what type of question can I ask, right? And there's a particular icebreaker that is this. So everyone can answer it, right? Whoever you want to answer it can answer it. You can take it in turns. I don't really mind because this is your show and you are the one that makes people famous, right? So this is my question. Who would you take with you for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner? It cannot be your family member and it cannot be any of your friends. Who would you take with you and why? Who would you invite and why? That's my question, Annie. Is that okay? Can I ask that? Can't I?
Oh, that's a big question. Who wants to answer the question? Tracy, do you fancy it? Who would you take for
I
breakfast?
want to ask, why do you want to take someone to breakfast? That's the reason. I need to know your purpose before I can answer your question.
Mm-hmm. It's just that's the question. Who would
Yeah,
you
the
take?
question is why you want to invite someone to breakfast. What's your purpose of inviting that person?
But where is your
Without knowing your premises, your goal, I can't answer that question.
But it's about yourself, you as yourself. It doesn't matter what the business is. It doesn't matter what the purpose is.
Then if I don't know the purpose or you don't have a purpose, then I will say, well, I will not invite anyone. I'd rather have the breakfast to myself. Thank you.
I'm laughing again. I love your honesty, Tracy.
Mike.
There's no purpose. Right. Mike, go for it, please. Feel free.
Breakfast, it would be someone that I don't yet know, but want to create an introduction to. Lunch would be someone that I know, but I haven't contacted in a while, and I need to reestablish. And dinner would be either someone I'm mentoring or someone that is mentoring me, so we can have a longer discussion.
Very good answers, Mike. And Sean, do you have an answer? Then Annie, you need to answer this question as well.
So I'm more like Tracy said, I need to know the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the purpose is to get to know those people, to talk to them, to find out about them. I remember I had a call with Annie and it was just a chat, like, let's get to know each other, talk more. There was no agenda. There was no hidden outcome that I was seeking. It was just like, here's another human. I want to get to know him. I want to know more about him. What makes him tick? Who is this person? I'm kind of bummed that I'm not in the US because I have a connection. He runs the Human Innovation Garage. It's really a powerful speaker and thought leader. And he started hosting these dinners to connect. And he just gets like 12 to 14 people come and they just have dinner and have natural human conversations. But he's shared so many like magical moments that just occurred when there was no, like, we're just having dinner together and we're having some communication and deals got done and people connected and golden nuggets dropped, as they do when people talk. But if I was going to choose who to have, I would say Chloe Madonis, who is one of my teachers and trainers. She teaches strategic family therapy. That was her main wheelhouse, but she's also one of the teachers for my coaching training. Alongside, I would write her partner, Tony Robbins. Another one, he wrote the book, The Ultimate Coach, which was life-changing, and it's all about who are you being. It's a lot of what set up my foundation, and that's Steve Hardison. And then Steve Chandler, the godfather of coaching. I would love to sit down with him and just have a conversation. That's my list. And there's probably more. I could probably have a whole luncheon.
There's bound to be more, right? There's bound to be more. Look, now for the sake of my well-being and to make sure I don't lose friends, over trick questions, Zara. I would add you to the list. I will add you to the list, Zara. You're one of those, right? And of course, Lisa, Lisa has to be there, right? I want all of them for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. So just like I laugh all day, right? I think I'll take Paulette. I might take Joni. Joni's a proper, she's the wisecracker of everyone. The one that's guaranteed to just make me go fall hysterically in public. But then again, I will take all of you. I would love to spend time with all of you.
Sorry, Annie, you did not answer a question at all.
I did.
Everybody.
I just said I want to.
For the same reason, I said I don't invite anyone because.
You've used that already. Right? I would like all the meals to myself. I agree, but I can't say that now because you said it, right? I'll take my best friends. And I want to be amused. My best friends, like I say, they know who they are. Miss Angelica fits in there as well. Yeah, so there you go. Now Sean said, let's have a table of 12. Come on, why do it by 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5? Let's do it. Let's have a big party.
You're in person.
But Annie, the reason I ask this type of question is because most people say this is a very pointless question, right? There has to be a motive. There has to be a purpose. Like there needs to be a reason, because I think a lot of people, if I was to invite people for breakfast who are not my friends or who I don't know, like my family members, for example, there would be a reason as to why. But if I ask you the question of who would you invite with, like to breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you need to understand, like Trace said earlier, there's a purpose, right? But it's a pointless question.
No. I don't think so. I disagree, really.
Okay, go on then.
I'll tell you why. I think your analogy with the family is a good one, because when I spend time with my family, I have no reason other than.
No, but the question was you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to take your family.
But my LinkedIn friends are my family. The ones I just mentioned, they're my bona fide friends, right? It's Miss Angelica, say Lisa, Paulette, and you. But Joni she's a wild card out of all of that. But I can meet people, as Sean said, with no motive whatsoever, apart from to live in joy, just enjoy the moment. And for that reason, so I say I want everyone there. I fancy Mike's interesting questions angle to life, and I just like Mike full stop, right? Mike's it's fascinating.
I'm going to concur with Annie's. As I've mentioned before, after my quad bypass last year, I'm really focusing on being present in the moment, because we don't know if we have the future. So one of the things I posted in the private chat is I think it's really important to come to any conversation open-handed and open-minded. And so I know what you were saying, and I know you were, a listening response, but I think the older I get and the more situations I see where, friends of mine are moving on, the more to coil, I just want to be with people in that moment and treasure it. So that would be my complete response. Thank you.
That's beautiful, Mike. That's absolutely beautiful. But it's a very strange question to ask someone that you're working with in business, because it is, like you said, Tracy, it is always about.
I don't think it's strange at all, but I will say, Dara, if I were you, I would probably formulate it this way. Like we have 5 people on stage, right? And I'll ask Annie is among 4 people here on the stage, who are you going to take to breakfast?
Yes.
Who you will take to lunch or dinner and so forth.
Yeah.
That will be a little bit more specific and give that person a little bit more choice to choose from instead of thinking about the thousands of people he already knew. It's a harder question. Just make it easier for people, and you'll get a better specific answers probably. And you can easily tell what kind of personality you are talking to, right?
Yes. The thing is Tracy, because I'm multilingual, so I speak 3 languages. The majority of people on the stage that I normally have speak more than 1 language. So I have to look at the CQ of an individual, you know, the cultural aspect of the individual. Most people say to me things like, well, my family is everything. I will bring every dish to the table, right? And if I'm talking to a Danish person, they'll say, well, why do I need to bring them? There are, like, why do I need to bring anybody else? Like, I've got my sauerkraut, you know, like I've got my rye bread. And then I'll have people who say to me things like, well, do you know in, what is it? Not in Denmark, in Sweden, they have the fish in the jars, the little fishes that, like, I think it's in, it's in Denmark, sorry. No, not Denmark, in Iceland. You know the little fish in the jars? I used to host dinner parties in Spain, and I've been in the UK for around two years and a bit now, right? So I have learned to gather all the information that's around me. I am Sudanese and Russian, so I'm a mixture of 2 diversities that try and intertwine to try and understand people. So the answers that they give me depends on their knowledge of IQ, CQ, and EQ. You can say whatever you want to say because you're entitled to the opinion. You can say whatever. You can say, well, why can't I bring my family? Because you care about your family. So then you're empathetic. If you say, well, I'll bring with me Elon Musk. Do you know Elon Musk? Depending on the answer the individual says. You know, if you give people questions, especially, for example, how I not scout, but I look for particular podcast guests, like Sean I've interviewed. I need to find your vision and your understanding of who you think you are, not based on what's around you, but based on your foundation, your heritage, your language, your religion. Not your religion, because I don't really believe in religion per se, but your faith is important to me, how you respond. Because if I'm going to have a conversation with you on a podcast, it's not going to be of a structure. It's going to be about you, who you are in your essence. So when I ask questions like that, it's because people should be real, you know? They shouldn't be like, people go on to ChatGPT. Like, I've seen podcasters who send scripts, for example, and it's like, okay, so this is the question. They sit here, or the screen is there, and I'm listening to them, and I'm thinking, there is no authenticity in that. There is no authenticity. So when I ask a question like that, or when someone asks me a question like that, I think, do you know what? There's a lot of sense in that, because they're testing the 3 areas, not just who I am right now, but who I came from, where I am, and what foundation I will continue to hold. That's the reason why I asked that question, Tracy.
I think you just wrote your script for Saturday, right?
No, I didn't.
There's something there. There's something there about being authentic, really.
Yes. No, but what is authenticity, Annie? What's authentic, Annie? Because ChatGPT will tell me.
We could be here for a week. You know, we argued this in one of my Being Your Authentic Self in Business shows. Mm-hmm. Probably the one that has had the most, most engagement. What's authentic? Just being your real self. Just being yourself, right? Being your real self.
What's that?
That's WYSIWYG. That's what you get from me. What you see is what you get. Literally. That's my authentic self. You know, I'm annoying. I'm amusing at times to myself, to me anyway. You know, I'm wrong half the time. I accept that. You know, so this is my real self. You know.
And I really miss you on camera, because I can't read your non-verbal. Because you don't have voice coming. I can't see your gesture. I can't see your facial expression. Those non-verbals are sending 90% of what you want to say. I can only hear 10%.
Next week, next
we need
week.
you back on camera for sure. Please fix your camera.
Tracy, it's true. We need him to stand up.
I'm standing up. I can't, if I sit down,
We
you
can't
sleep.
see you. Oh, we can't
Yeah.
see you.
Okay. All right. It's only for 1 week. It's fine. We'll have to survive. Look, my friend,
True.
go on, Mike, please.
I was going to say, Tracy, you have to use your imagination. Imagine how he usually is.
I'm falling off. I'm
There's
using
limits,
my
Tracy.
imagination.
There has to be limits to your imagination, right? No, I haven't got wild hair. My hair hasn't suddenly grown. You know, I'm still bored. Make me laugh. Why don't you, right? You know, look, it's only a week. And I don't want to keep you all for too long. I really don't. I realize. I think you we've entertained and we've educated. Look, I want to go around and maybe do what your one last comment for us today. Thank you for making us laugh, Zara. Now, I take your comment, Mike, as a guest speaker. I believe it's a two-way street relative to timing. It's when are your friends around? What works for your audience? And that's Sean said many times, right? And so many of us we're aiming for an international audience, or are we? Of course, if you're aiming for Americans, I wouldn't put an event on anytime before 3 p.m. And that's pushing it, because I know that someone discounts the PST people because they're 9 hours behind us. But many Americans put their shows on at hour 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So literally next day, because that's early evening in the US, right? But so now when I do that, I know I'm trying to exclude certain people, because that's by nature. Our timing will exclude some, will include others. Back to Sean's point, know your audience and be very strategic about how making your show convenient for them.
I also wouldn't discount Team Replay, and like we said, the Substacks and the reuse, because I just think lives are awesome. Don't get me wrong, particularly when your guest, either well known or not, is bringing a lot of value. But I think there is a lot. If you're looking at pure content and getting points across, I think we have to lean into the reuse of the content after.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you entirely. We need to leverage the replays. The question I think we have to answer to ourselves: how much work do we want to put into it? It's funny that you can't stream to Substack. I think someone asked me the other day, and I looked and I saw that it's on a list. But maybe there's a way to stream to Substack if you know the technical details. Essentially, if you have is it RMTP channel, something like that.
It's
yes, it is. Yes,
it is 100% feasible. StreamYard, right. You have to kind of do things more manually. Any Restream has a direct connection. You can actually choose choose Substack as a channel, but they're still, unlike as a live host, unlike LinkedIn and YouTube where you connect it once, or even the other channels, and you just go live and it goes out to the channels you've selected. Substack has to be manually set up for every stream. That's because of Substack. But yes, it is possible, and you're absolutely right. I heard the ratio of live viewers to replay viewers is like 10 to 1. Like for every live viewer you have, you're going to get 10 views on the replay. So yes, definitely as Mike said, don't discount Team Replay. And and if your audience responds to, if you build your audience from short content, use it. Use what works for you.
I agree.
Who needs to edit? I've got Anthony. I used to do like 1 hour raw chats like Zara likes to host. because that when I have my interviews, that's exactly what they are. I have some questions and some, ideas of what to talk about with my guests, get to know them a little bit. I kind of do my research like Zara saw when I spoke on African AI Auntie. I do the research, find out about people, get, like I might, if I interviewed Tracy, I would like, okay, Tech Studios, is that an acronym? How did you come up with that? Mike, how did you get into poetry and writing songs? Like, what was the spark? But for Zara, since I am the authenticity guy, this is the way I see authenticity. It's alignment between your inner world and your outer expression. It's when what you think, feel, believe, and value is congruent with how you speak, act, and show up.
Yeah.
It's a buzzword today. A lot of people say, oh, be authentic. And they think that means you vomit all your crud on everybody.
No one wants that, Mike. No one wants that, Sean. No one wants anyone vomiting over them, right? And no one wants to know your deep, your dark secrets either, by the way, because you might think they do.
Well, there is a place. I've learned in my life, there is a place and a context and a time for everything. A lot of my life when I was growing up, we had, don't do that. Like, it was just don't do that. What I do with my son is like scream, yell, be crazy. Not in this time, not in this space, because you could break something or something could go wrong. But over here, that's perfect. Go for it. Right? It's not about right and wrong. It's about, is this the right time, place, and context for it?
I agree.
Sean, I agree 100%. You have to use discernment about. I have not shared some very deep things I would like to eventually. I don't know if I'll do it on any show, but the value to me of that, or the what I've experienced in the past, is if you can do that in a way that other people can receive it, and you figure that out by looking at, you read your audience, and I've just found tremendous. I won't say why my poetry, because I had a situation where I read my poetry in the wrong context and I reaped the rewards of that. But since then, I'm trying to do better at reading the room and the audience and allowing that. But also, Sean, I found sometimes we just have to step out and be ready to make the mistake. Because in the past, I was just almost like very mousy and didn't want to, break out of my comfort zone. I think growth happens in stepping out of our comfort zone, but we don't want to, how do I put this, cause injury to other people in doing so. So that's the discernment and the wisdom part of that. So thank you.
I think we have to very choosy. In most places I go to, most events I go to, I don't say a word.
Really, Annie? You don't know how to speak?
No, discernment. I tell you what it is, Zara. Sometimes I refuse to think. I'm just there for the sake. I'm there to enjoy the show. I was on the show last night. I talked about Keith's show. I had no reason to be there. Yeah, eventually I turned to music instead. I put drum and bass.
Yes.
Now I wasn't thinking about anything. I wasn't gonna add anything useful to the conversation. So there's no point in me speaking. And I just and many 99% of the shows I go to, I don't say a word. Sean's show, because it's Sean, I will go on stage every so often. Even then it's every so often. It's not every week, because I know I can talk for Jesus. I'd rather not, unless I talk myself out of it. I'm like, I could speak again today, but I'm eating, so I'm not going to go out and talk. But then someone else goes up and talks. So, I suppose deep down, you have to be very, very choosy where you speak. Make sure that you are adding something to conversation. and not don't commit arrestable offenses. Don't share too much.
I think Annie, I interviewed Keith Keller, and I've interviewed you, and I've interviewed Sean. With Keith Keller, it was taking me out of my comfort zone, because I normally need to see a person in the face. Like I have to see their eyes to know what because I read body language very, very well. And Keith Keller wanted like audio, and my podcast is not audio. It's like a visual thing. Like a lot of my listeners like to see the individual, because they like to see the body language, how someone uses their hands. They want to see the whole thing, because one thing that we cannot take away when it comes to whatever language we speak is the body language we choose to use. So for example, there are micro differences, but when you see someone do this, you know that they're speaking from their heart, right? Now, with Keith Keller, he challenged me to listen to a voice, the way that he took the content that we recorded together and repurposed it on SoundCloud, on Substack, clipping it, made me realize sometimes you have to come out of that zone. Now, Sean knows, and Annie, I don't really have a script. I don't really care about what ChatGPT or DeepSeek tells me. I always say, the mic is yours now, guest. Say whatever you want to say. And then I don't believe in scripting things. I believe in, because I'm not for the clout, I'm for the value, the quality, the people who listen. The comments that I get on Spotify, on Amazon, on Apple, on TikTok, are the comments that I need in order for me to understand this is going wrong and this is going good. Keith Keller taught me this. Sometimes you do not need to show people your everything, right? You need to show them your skill. Focus on your skill. When you are a podcaster, as Sean knows, when you are a podcaster, the mic is not that important. It's the message that you have to relay. But with Keith Keller, it's the audio. Because, for example, if there is, like, I interviewed Graham Coth, right? And Graham Coth, he interviews, people who are musicianists, people who have been in music. And he said to me something about sitting in a bottle. I think it was like putting Vaseline on yourself and sitting in a bottle. And as an autistic person, I'm thinking, how can anyone sit in a bottle with Vaseline? As you would. But he explains to me in voice. Sometimes our voices go away and sometimes they come very close. As a podcaster, you have to learn the differences between doing a live this is live. You cannot edit it. You cannot delete it. It's there. It's there. It's on the internet forever. But as a podcaster, you have the ability to rub out what you don't like. You don't have to show this part. You can basically digest it to audio. You can take it visually. You can mix match it. You can do whatever you want to do with it because it's in your hands. But as you do, Annie, as a live host, it's a lot more harder because you can't just kick someone off the stage. As a podcaster, I've had people who have been guests so like boring as anybody's business, and I've just been like, look, mate, you bore me. Now, imagine if I was on live and I said that, they'd think, oh, Zara's very rude, right? But sometimes when you go through particular guests, some of them send you questions that they would like you to ask because they have a business or a brand they want to promote. Some of them just want to speak because nobody listens. And some of them challenge you and say to you, well, can I just do it hiding? But it's not really hiding. It's teaching you a different process in a different way. So what I would leave with all of the people who are listening to live today is this. Whether you are doing a live or whether you're podcasting, remember this. Be your authentic self and do not go to ChatGPT or DeepSeek and ask it, what is your authentic self? Because at the end of the day, ChatGPT is input and output. You are an individual, you are human. Whatever you have been conditioned with, however your environment has raised you, whatever your ideology is, focus on your IQ, which is your intelligence, your EQ, which is your emotions, and your CQ, which is your understanding of empathy in different cultures. So if you are going to do a live or you are going to be a podcaster, remember, those are the things that are important. Have empathy for people, understand people, and don't be so boxy, because I don't really understand boxy. But that's it, Annie. Thank you very much for giving me the limelight. Don't be boxy. Don't sit in a box. I'll find you.
Don't be boxy. Don't be boxy. I agree with you. I love people who give me a script of sorts. I'm like, no. I say yes until they turn their back, and I'm like, I said, when the show starts, I'm like, out the window. I want a conversation, right? You know,
Only pizza belongs in a box.
I tell you. Even then, I'd be worried, right? Make your own. You know, literally.
Sorry, Annie. Sean, they normally say, a black Russian, what's that? I'm like, me.
Sorry, humor. Any humor is what it is. And I don't get arrested too often, thank goodness. That's why I say, right? No, it's useful advice. The genie got in the bottle somehow, right? The genie got in the bottle somehow, Zara. It must be the Vaseline. It must be. I can imagine, right? No, but look, good advice. I mean, everyone's got their own reason for doing the shows, right? You know, everyone got that, and we're also different. Now, my show is very different to Sean's. You know, but and to Tracy's. You know, so I think that's a good thing. It's finding, you know, it's knowing why you're doing your show, and then knowing how to do what you want to do to get the value for your audience, and give the audience what they want. You know, if you come to my show expecting seriousness all day, all the time, good luck. You're not going to get it. And people will tell me afterwards, oh, you're always too jokey. I'm like, yeah, that's my design, right? It's how I want it. It's what I aim to do. I'm glad you got it. You know, whereas other people's shows are much more serious. And some people, they play music. I'm like, what the hell? But it's their show, right? It's their show. And that's what their friends like. They can do whatever they like, you know, but literally know who you are. I agree with you, Zara. Know who you are and do what comes naturally to you. You know, that's an important thing. Tracy, you haven't given us your final message today, my friend.
Now to go back to the original question, what's the best time to set up your live event? I still think that the best time is the time you can give yourself 100%, even 110% to your audience, your content consumers, your partners, your co-hosts or panelists, like what I say, my potential customers, the one on stage, because I still think that collaboration is important, not just in my time. I want to have their presence 100% as well. And I am boxed, Sarah, and I will tell you why, because I'm very time sensitive. My show is 12 o'clock at my time. It's a break time for people. Some people might be eating lunch. They may not even have the entire 45 minutes. And I want to give them something super dry, the things they need to solve a problem, address an issue. So my show is highly curated, but it's not really, script. I do give my questions out to the panelists. They know what's being asked, and whatever their answer is their, expertise. They shine in their own way. And I have to cut off 45 minutes straight. Sometimes I do run over 48 minutes or maybe a little bit lagging from the restream the platform. That's, not within my control, but I will try at least do not go over 5 minutes, and that will never be 5 minutes short. Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you, everyone.
Wow. Look, now, so, you brought me an idea for one of my upcoming rooms, to script or not to script. I wonder. I'd love to know your thoughts. But not today.
And here's as Tracy was saying that, I totally understand her boundaries. I don't see what she's saying as boxes. You know, it is about respecting time, right? If you know your audience is only can make it, might even have difficulty being there for 45 minutes. That's boundaries, and boundaries are not walls. They're not box edges. They're movable. They're adjustable. You know, I actually said it Monday, kind of download from inner wisdom or something. Instead of work-life balance, right? Everybody talks about work-life balance. It's such a myth. There is no balance. You can't have it, especially as an entrepreneur. But it's about work-life boundaries. For example, Thursdays are like, that's family day. I'm not taking calls. I'm not getting on live events typically. That's a boundary for me. That's my day with my family. So as Tracy said, when I do events, I want to be present with the audience and the panel. And when I'm with my family, I want to be present with them.
Yeah, makes perfect sense, my friend. You know, my boundary is Friday nights. You know, I've done shows on Friday nights. I've done shows on weekends, but you know, Friday nights. I mean, there's a graveyard shift. There's that bit after 9 o'clock in the US when rightly my friends would turn up with a can of beer or a glass of wine, and I don't sell nothing in those moments. I don't sell nothing in those shows. That's why I just don't do them. You know, literally, don't do the Friday night when everyone's relaxing and you want to talk business. That's my personal experience. You know, I've done shows those times, and yes, they've been fun. Don't get me wrong. You know, and some of them have been too much fun. You know, where people really, you know, they're having too much fun, and that's what they bring, right? You know, I think your timing, my friends, you know, it has to be down to you. I think, you know, Mike's point, team replay, team live, you know, decide who you want. And maybe target all of them, right? Target all of them. You know, and I think we need to do the work. America has 5 time zones, says Mel, indeed. And there's a lot of insults about LinkedIn not being keen on this platform. I think LinkedIn is keen on the platform. LinkedIn owns StreamYard, for example. So they make extra money. And let me tell you, LinkedIn doesn't make money from anything apart from Recruiter. Recruiter, if you know how much LinkedIn makes from Recruiter, you'd be gobsmacked. A Recruiter monthly package can be thousands of pounds, thousands of dollars. Just one. So that's where LinkedIn makes money. LinkedIn doesn't need our petty cash. I pay LinkedIn £70 a month for Sales Navigator. They don't really care. Why should they? Because they make so much more millions, gazillions from Recruiter than you ever realize. You know, so LinkedIn, they'll get it right. They'll get it right for us. They eventually, they realize they couldn't fix audio any more than it was. Hence, they essentially packaged the whole thing off to streaming. They're making more money now than ever before, and they're going to make even more as time goes on. Zara, when you put your hand up, I'm obliged to come to you.
No, it's because, guys, do you know a company called Miracle? Do you know Tracy, Mike,
No.
Sean? You know Miracle?
No, who are they?
They will test you out for your audio. Miracle approached me not so long ago. What they're doing is they're testing AI models for lives, podcasters, and what are they called? The other one. What's the other one called? There's another word I'm looking for. Sean, guys, help me out here. What's the other one?
There's lives, podcasters, not audio.
Content creators.
Yes, content creators. So they're looking for people who test models of AI. So if anybody receives a message from Miracle, you are going to have an interview with an AI. If you have an interview with an AI, sorry, Annie, I interrupted you. If you're going to have an interview from a company called Miracle, it pays very well, but it looks for podcasters, live, like you, Annie, do, like Tracy, you do, Mike, the same as what you do. So you're a songwriter, your tech studios, Tracy, your Global.Media, and Sean, your identity disruptor. Go on to Miracle, and you will be able to. So this is for everyone that's listening today. I'm not promoting them because they're not paying me enough to promote them anyways. They're not paying me anything. Because I speak Spanish and Arabic, they are testing models of AI in accents and languages and people. Okay, so that's all I want to say. If anyone has a message from Maricore, guys, respond back. You will have around a 15-minute interview with an AI and write down the AI. You have two AIs. The first one is they give you questions and you have to respond to 20 questions. The second one is you have a live interview. So they take a picture of your face and they will discuss with you how to interview better, how to speak better, the things that you need to bring better. Because now is the moment, because we've shifted from where we chase clout to where they look for authenticity. So guys, Maricore, if they come after you, if I send you a link from Maricore, actually, I'm not going to send you a link. Go Google it yourselves. Find what they do. But they're testing models for voiceovers, for podcasters, for B2B businesses, for anyone who's always on live, on audio, or on content. Okay? That's what I wanted to leave you guys with. Anyway, sorry, Annie, for interrupting. I just need to say that.
Excellent. No problems. You know, if we'll make money, I'm happy, right? You know, Miracle is called, right? So
it's £120 an hour, guys.
Yes, go and check it out. Why not? You know, buy me some beers, my Friday night show. that I haven't got yet. You know, thank you so much, everyone. So do connect, of course. Jay, I see you as well, my friend. Thank you for being here. It's a cute cartoon, Miss Angelica. So a great cartoon. So I'm sure we're going to see more of it. I missed anyone? Gladys, I've mentioned you. Of course, I mentioned Marlene earlier. Anthony as well. Anthony and I have a show tomorrow night. I think it's 11:30 my time. What's that? 5:30 Eastern. Do join us, my friends. You know, Anthony, I think the topic is why we suffer. Yeah, I love his crazy topics. Now, why do we suffer? Because it's fun, Anthony. It's fun to suffer. We grow when we suffer. Good things happen. Anyway, let's leave it there for today, my friends. Thank you so much. Look, enjoy your day. You know, invite me to your shows. Let me leave you with that. Invite me to your show. If anyone has Tracy, invite me to more of your shows, please. Otherwise, we'll
yes,
listen, right?
Coming up in 19 minutes. Come by.
I'm coming. Thank you. Definitely come along. Take care, everyone. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Global.Media.